Huntington zone that could be moved to Yantacore, because what's going to happen over here, that would balance the enrollments. Because what will happen, and you'll see a little bit later on, the projection shows Yantacore with the modulars having some excess space. But Washington doesn't. So in order to balance it out, you create the structures at each of the two school buildings, and then redistrict those two in a manner that balances out the enrollments. And you'll see what the numbers look like, I believe, in a bit. Next slide, please. Okay.
Dr. Haber,
Yes.
Can you explain what the black dots signify?
Yeah, the black dots aren't speckles on the screen. Those are actual locations of the children. In doing this, that's called. Can you go back one slide? Back. Okay. All right. What this process, the process of redistricting, process of realignment uses, I use something called geocoding. And what geocoding is, I address match all of the kids that live in the district to the map, so that we have their actual locations. And as I look in different areas, I can actually count kids. I can look down there and say, okay, in this cluster, there are 68 kids living, or in this cluster, there are 57 kids. So we can take groups of children and say, if we change the boundary and move them over, what does that immediately do to the enrollment of that school? So these dots are based upon, I think I got them in November, so they're early November, late October. So these are the actual locations of kids. If this is not live data, obviously, so it's a slide, but if we zoomed in, you can't do it here, but if we zoomed in my live data and got real close, those dots would break up. You would see that, if one address from a distance, it looks like one dot. When you get to that address, and if there are 3 or 4 kids living there, you see the spread of the 3 or 4 dots. So this is actually the way that remodeling is done, redistricting is done, and it's also the way we determine, if there were kids out of district, if there were kids out of attendance zone, those different kinds of things. So that was the process that was used in redistricting, in coming up with the different models and determining what kids go to what programs and what schools, that kind of thing. So it's a high level of detail, but it's really, really important. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so projected elementary school utilization. Okay, this was the model this was the basic guideline that I used, that class sizes do not exceed 25 for any grade level. And then